Good morning, good afternoon, or good night from whenever and wherever you are watching us. I am Cameron Scandal. That is Steven Treffler. We are the sound. Thank you so much for joining us here today, folks. It's a beautiful day in Pennsylvania today, Steve. It's a great afternoon outside. Sunny, the wind is blowing, the sound is recording with intelligent and cogent sports analysis. There are a few days better than this. There are a few hobbies or activities you could be doing better than sitting and enjoying the sound right now.
And this is just a great time of year. Football's back. There's a nip in the air again. The nights are getting cold. The leaves are starting to change. This is, in my opinion, from September to October, is the best time to live in Pennsylvania. And
it's still warm enough to golf, too. It's still warm enough to golf, but it's cooling down a little bit. It's a great time of year. We're happy to have you with us on this beautiful afternoon. Without further ado, we're going to start off with some things to mention. Last night, Nick Chubb suffered a season-ending, horrific leg injury. It's not confirmed what the details are yet. He will have an MRI to get all that stuff checked out, but it is 100% confirmed he will no longer play this season, and that's just a bummer. It's always sad to see a player get that kind of injury in any sport. So you want your thing to mention, or want me to do my thing to mention?
Yeah, I'll go real quick. So
okay, go ahead.
I want to announce to our viewers and to the world, Cam Scandal just accepted a new job offer, and I want to congratulate him in front of the people for that. He's going to be the new rec center manager for Shamokin. That's amazing, and I'm proud of you.
Thank you very much. Yep. It is exciting. There's been this rec center that's been in my hometown being built since I was a kid, finally all up and running, being run by the YMCA, and they hired me to be the acting manager of the building. So yeah, thank you very much. That was nice. I didn't know what to expect when he said it was a surprise, but yes, thank you. So I just captured my thing to mention. Here he is. This is my new little kitty, Morty. Say Morty. Oh, I'm so glad he meowed. Morty is, 8 weeks old, maybe. His birthday's July 20th. Do the math. He's a boy tabby cat, and he is not enjoying my presence.
No, he's swatting at your face. He's saying, "Put
Morty,
me down."
Say one more thing to the people before you go. Go ahead.
You have something important to say?
All right.
Goodbye,
Morty. The people love you.
Perfect. We all love you, Morty.
Good boy.
Such a cute cat.
Things to mention. Yeah. Moving on to our first subject of the day, we are going to talk about a couple week 2 games that, just to be honest, didn't go our way. Let's just, first of all, I want to address the elephant in the room that I really don't want to address, but I have to. There was someone on this panel. I'm not going to name names, but someone on this panel said that the Jets were going to upset the Cowboys. The New York Jets are going to beat the Dallas Cowboys. Said that Zach Wilson was going to do this amazing job. I think Zach's going to have the mentality, like I said on today's Top 5. I got to prove myself. I'm not going to be who I was last game. And said that Dak Prescott was going to drop and be bad. Instead, the Cowboys won 30-10. Dak Prescott had 255 yards, only missed 7 passes, and had 2 touchdowns. Zach Wilson, 12 for 27, less than 200 yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 interceptions. 3. Listen, they had a good start. The Jets started off fine. I was seeing decent things from Zach Wilson, and then the Cowboys showed me something that I'm going to say right now, Steve. I think you're going to agree with me. The Cowboys, I think, have the best defense in the NFL. I don't know about their team as a whole. I'm still not believing in them, but I think they might have the best defense in the NFL. We are in a very delicate time in the NFL season where the Cowboys are about to get a lot of hype, get a lot of Super Bowl hype. People are probably going to talk about Micah Parsons being the best defender in the league, Trayvon Diggs maybe being the best back or the corner in the league. That's what's about to start. But I want to tell you something. In the Dak Prescott era, 4 of the 7 seasons, they have had a worse record in the second half of the season than the first. Good for the Cowboys. I was wrong. I got to own it. Was a bad take. But I do not think this means that they're still going to be this amazing Super Bowl team, but they might have the best defense in the NFL. They might.
I did not expect the Cowboys to come in and do something that I frankly haven't thought that they could do, which is have the best defense in the NFL.
Yeah.
Last week they picked off Josh Allen 3 times. This week they picked off Zach Wilson 3 times. They're creating turnovers. They're getting after the quarterback. But here's what I'm going to say, and I want you to listen very closely. Do you think that it would have made a difference having Aaron Rodgers in the backfield healthy? Do you think that an impressive win over the Giants, who their offense is dog shit, and the Jets, who without Aaron Rodgers, they have the worst starting quarterback in the league, how do we evaluate how good their defense really is? Now, if they do that to the Eagles, if they do that to a team where I'm like, oh, wow, okay, that team's got a good offense. Even the Vikings, if they do that against a team where I'm like, yeah, they have a pretty formidable offense. Good for the Cowboys. They look fast. They look good. But
they look good, yeah.
I'm just not – I haven't bought in on them yet.
No, let's pump the brakes a little bit. Yeah, well, I think we're on the exact same page with the Dallas Cowboys. So, yeah, the Kansas City Chiefs beat the Jaguars 17-9. Again, there's someone on this panel who will remain nameless.
Yes, I am saying the Chiefs are going to start out the season 0-2.
But I don't know. They're going to rename it. Yeah. Patrick Mahomes, 29 for 41, 300-plus yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Trevor Lawrence, 22 for 41. Not great for him. 216, no touchdowns, no picks. Kind of broke even. It was, Steve, I was watching some parts of the game, and it was just weird. Like, I have no other way to put it. It was slow. The vibes between the Jags seemed all sorts of not on the same page. Trevor Lawrence was all over the place in the red zone, and they just didn't look synced up. But even the Chiefs, they didn't play bad, but I didn't get that same high energy feeling that I usually get from watching them. Like, they just seem to kind of play good enough to win, you know what I mean? And the Jaguars, I think, put themselves in a bad situation. Odd scoring game, and I'm just kind of not really sure how I feel about it.
Well, I got a few takes about this game.
Sure.
So the first take is I am very concerned with the Chiefs' ability to score against defenses that aren't that good. So it's
an odd thing to say.
Well, so we've always seen the Chiefs, and they have this high potency, high energy offense. And they're scoring points, and they have these deep throws, and there hasn't been any of that in the first 2 games. Their offense struggled mightily against the Lions. Fair. Then their offense struggled against the Chiefs. Travis Kelce came back in a 60%. He had 61 or 62% of the snap count for the game. I'm just concerned with the Chiefs' ability to have that high potency offense that they've had in recent years. Now, I will stand on this little platform that I have is I did say that Patrick Mahomes would throw an interception this game because every game after a loss, Mahomes throws an interception. But what this shows me, you take Travis Kelce out of there, do they beat the Jags? You take, he was, even in his 60% playing, he was still the most impactful receiver on that team. So it's just, I'm concerned if Travis Kelce is their only answer this year, can they go up against the powerhouses of the AFC and win? But now I'm also looking at the AFC thinking, well, geez, where did my powerhouses go?
This is a really interesting stat. So far in this NFL season, NFC teams are undefeated against AFC teams.
It's weird.
We were on this show talking about how crazy good the AFC was and how awful the NFC was. And they're 6-0 NFC teams are, I think it said, against the AFC.
I know it's only week 2, and I know we need to pump the brakes, but there is a little bit of concern from the Chiefs' offense for me.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with that. I think that if the thing that I was like, there was a part of the game, like the energy that was missing, if that's the spark of their offense, that's a legitimate concern. And I also think this is a good time to remember that we don't want to be prisoners of the moment. Like it's in the sports world and the media, like you and I, we don't want to overreact to maybe one game in week 2. So other than that, that was really the only two week 2 games that were kind of weird. I mean, the Bengals losing to the Ravens, that's not crazy to me, especially with Joe Burrow limping off the field at the end of the game. I mean, he's clearly banged up, but yeah, that was really it as far as weird games go for me.
The first 2 weeks of football have just been odd for me. It's like a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah, maybe the teams just got to get the rust out, first 2 weeks, got to get the good.
I hope, because the direction that things are going is Sam Howell's the top 10 quarterback, and the Atlanta Falcons are going to make the playoffs. So.
How dare you taint our show by saying those words in the microphone to the people? How dare you, sir? How dare
anyone who believes that, just know you're wrong.
Facts. Moving on to our next subject, it is time for everyone's favorite game show. Who is that? Who is that is a game where Steve and I give each other clues to guess different NBA or NFL players. The less clues you use, or the less guesses you use, the better your score will be. Right now, it is 16-7. I am up by 9 points. Man, you just need a good round. You just need a really good one. Hopefully, you can get a low one this time. I think I have a good player for you. It is my turn to give the clues. Steve, you ready to play? Who is that?
Let's do this.
All right, here we go. Clue number 1, my friend. Give you some basic starting information. A 10-time All-Star, 6-time All-NBA, and he has 5 straight third teams. So 5 of those 6 All-NBAs are third teams.
10-time All-Star.
10-time All-Star.
10-time, 6-time All-NBA with 5 third teams. Can I ask what his other team is?
I think a second.
Okay. So he was no better than a top 10 player in the league. Pau Gasol.
It is not Pau Gasol.
I feel like that's a good guess.
That's a good guess. I'm okay with that guess. That's a great guess. This is a really good clue, I think. This might be my favorite clue that I've come up with.
Okay.
He is 11th all-time in total career points, and he is 12th all-time in total career points and playoff points combined.
Steve Nash.
It is not Steve Nash. That's another really good guess. 2 great guesses. Clue number 3. He played for... Now, this is a little bit of a caveat. He technically played for 5 teams, but one of those teams he only played 10 games. So he really played for 4 teams, in my opinion.
Okay.
Do you want to know the teams, or do you want to try to get it without the teams? I feel, you know what? No, I'm not giving you the teams. The teams will give it away.
Dwayne Wade.
It's not Dwayne Wade. It's a good guess. How many teams do? I think Wade played for 3. Cavs, Bulls, and Heat.
Man, I thought he played for more than that.
Nah, that's a good guess, though. It's an excellent guess. He is a 4-time member of Team USA, winning 3 gold medals and a bronze. Can you hear Morty jumping around?
Paul George?
Ooh, that's another great guess. You are on fire with these guesses. It is not Paul George.
Dang it.
It's an excellent guess. He was the 2013 scoring champion, averaging 29 points a game.
2013. This is going to be somebody stupid. No, it can't be him.
Do you hear Morty running around in here?
He's got more All-NBAs than that.
I can give you, like, if you can't get it at your last guess, I can give you his teams, but I think that'll give it away, but I can't give you his 4 teams or 5 teams.
Had to be somebody who was in the league. They're 11th in that. It had to be somebody who was in the league for a while. I'm gonna Chris Paul.
That might. That's a good guess. That's another good guess. It's a great guess. Do you want the bonus clue? Do you want a bonus clue?
Yes.
All right. Here is 5 teams. Ready? Portland, New York, Denver, Houston, and the Lakers. Morty has appeared.
Portland,
Support.
New York.
What do you think it is?
No, he doesn't have nearly that many points. Portland, New York, Houston. I feel so dumb right now. Only because the only reason I'm feeling is.
Would you like a second bonus clue that will 100% give it away?
Because if they won the 2013 scoring title and they played for the fucking Lakers and the Knicks, it's not Carmelo Anthony, is it? Yeah, it's Carmelo Anthony.
Is that your guess?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Carmelo Anthony. It 100% is Carmelo Anthony.
As soon as I was like, wait, there's only one person there can't be that many people who could average that for a season and played for all those teams. And then I was like, damn, I forgot that he's one of the best U.S. Olympic players ever.
He might be the best U.S. Olympic player ever. Yeah. Yeah, I think he has the record for most Olympics played in.
The third teams are the ones that threw me off on that because I've always thought that he had at least 1 or 2 first.
Well, he was fighting with Durant and LeBron and other Paul Pierce, other forwards, Garnett. Yeah,
that was a great one. That was a great guess.
Oh wait, dude, I think I missed a team.
You said Portland, Houston, Lakers, New York.
I did miss a team.
Did you do the Thunder?
I forgot the Thunder. The Thunder.
I mean, that
would. Listen, I don't know how much of a difference that would have made. Yeah, Houston was a team he had played only 10 games for.
I felt like Chris Paul was a great guess.
Chris Paul was. The one before Chris Paul was a really good guess. Wade was. All were great guess. Paul George was a really good guess. Paul George was my favorite guess. All right. 21-7 is our final score. Another great round of Who Is That? That was a great player, great guesses. This might be one of the best, if not the best round we've played, simply for the clues and player and your guess. All of it in totality was excellent. You're gonna get me. You're gonna stump me one day. I'm gonna take 20 guesses one day. We will get there. But until then, we all hope you've enjoyed this installment of Who Is That? Moving on to our third and final segment. It is everyone's favorite segment, Soundbite. In case you forget what Soundbite is, which by now you really shouldn't. It's the best one on the show. But Soundbite is where Steve and I react to different players, sports personalities, whoever it may be. If they say something interesting in a post-game interview, a podcast, just they say something or do something that we think is interesting and want to talk about, we listen. So, for today's Soundbite, we have Stephen A. Smith appearing on Shannon Sharp's podcast, Club Shay Shay, discussing who is better all time, Dwight Howard or Anthony Davis, which at one point in time, if maybe a year ago, was going around a little bit, but let's take a look at Stephen A. and Shannon Sharp.
Stan Van Gundy said, you can't make a case to say Anthony Davis' career has been better than Dwight Howard's. What's your take on that?
I kind of agree. Anthony Davis was a prolific scorer, but at the end of the day, he wasn't relevant until he arrived to the Lakers with LeBron.
Correct.
Dwight Howard was a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, extraordinary shot blocker and eraser. Was never the offensive player that Anthony Davis was, but certainly was just as impactful.
Yes.
And more successful because he was on a squad that Anthony Davis won a championship with as a reserve.
Right.
Which means he's got a ring too.
Right.
The impact of your career is not greater than that of Dwight Howard.
Dwight Howard took a team to the NBA Finals.
Yes, he did.
In his prime, he was one of the 5 best players in the NBA.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I can't disagree with that. I can't disagree. I can say Anthony Davis is a better talent.
Yes.
But it also highlights what you must not be doing.
Right.
Because a lesser talent that is Dwight Howard was more impactful than you were.
Right.
So there you have it. Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp talking about Dwight Howard and Anthony Davis's careers and their impacts on the game. Stephen A. Smith says some nonsensical things, and his arguments are not that great to me. Steve, we have some very strong opinions on this topic. You're going to lead us off for this segment. Take it away, my friend.
What makes this difficult for me is, to me, I think it depends what you value more out of a center. Because if you value a big who's going to be able to give you some scoring, going to be able to clean the glass all day long, and also defend the rim, then when you look at the accolades and you look at the numbers, most casual NBA fans would think, oh, well, then you take Dwight Howard. On the other side, if you're looking for a big man who's going to be a scorer, then most people would say Anthony Davis. But when you actually crunch the numbers, Anthony Davis has three more seasons of averaging 2 blocks a game. And you can say, okay, well, Dwight Howard has 3 consecutive, defensive player of the years from 2009, 10, and 11. But I would also say that Dwight Howard's regular season numbers are the only ones that have ever really stood out to me. This is hard for me because I think the entire argument, when you're looking at where you rank them all time, I think Anthony Davis is better. I think that he was more impactful, even though he was, Dwight Howard was the best player on a team that went to the finals. Well, good for you. Okay. My thing is that Anthony Davis's impact on his teams has been more, in my opinion, than Dwight Howard. But I want to get your opinion on this, Cam, because to me, when I'm looking at these two players, I think it really kind of does, you have to get deeper into the numbers, because looking at it, just accolades, you would want to hint towards Dwight Howard. But you look at Anthony Davis and how long he was good for, I think that has to matter.
Yeah. So you hit the nail on the head at the end when you said that Anthony Davis's impact on his teams was more impactful than Dwight Howard's was. And I have a few different things I want to talk about with these two guys. I think to kind of go over some quick points right here, people forget that, Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp both agree that Dwight Howard was a top 5 player in the NBA in his prime. So with Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
People always talk about how Dwight Howard was the best, one of the best defender and the best big man in the league in his prime. So with Anthony Davis. People talk Anthony Davis was one thing that Dwight Howard wasn't in his prime, and that was maybe the best two-way player or two-way big man in the NBA. There was a long period of time where Dwight Howard or Anthony Davis was amongst the top 5 players in the league because of how he impacted both sides of the ball, whereas Dwight Howard, we only talk about how big and physical and strong he was, and he blocked a lot of shots and grabbed a lot of rebounds and was a good body. Great for him. That doesn't take away from Anthony Davis's peak when he was not getting hurt. Anthony Davis still has a lot of time to do a lot more things in this NBA. The other thing that people forget about Anthony Davis in his prime and his peak, before we had Giannis and Luka and Jokic, there was a question of who's going to be the best player in the NBA when the LeBron, Durant, Steph era leaves. Anthony Davis was the answer to that question. That's who we thought was going to be the next big thing. And I know we don't talk about college when we do these debates, but Anthony Davis's college career, one of the best college players of all time, without a doubt. So I'm going to start off with the regular season Anthony Davis, Dwight Howard stuff, and then Steve, I'm going to go to both of us for the playoff stuff, because that's where it gets interesting. So let's start with the regular season. 4 All-NBAs for Anthony Davis to Dwight Howard's 8. Obviously, that's half, but all 4 of Anthony Davis's are first teams. I think that should be noted. 4 all-defensive first teams is Dwight Howard's 5. Not that big of a difference, so I think that's a wash. They had the same number of All-Stars, and Anthony Davis in 2017 was the All-Star Game MVP, if that matters to you. They both have, Dwight, they both have a ring. Stephen A. said that washes out. That's garbage. Anthony Davis being the second best player on a finals and Dwight Howard being a role player on a finals team are two very different things. So let's get that out of the way. They each have a ring, but Anthony Davis actually has an NBA ring. Anthony Davis has 2 top 5 MVP finishes where he got as close as 3rd in 2018. And for their careers, Anthony Davis averages 24, 10, and 2. Dwight Howard averages 15, 12, and 1. Again, people forget that Anthony Davis was a top 5 player in the league for a large part of his time in the league before he was getting hurt all the time. Dwight Howard, it's fair and not fair to talk about when he was on the Hawks and on the Wizards, like when he was on the Hornets, when he was dying, right? But that matters. We use that for Jordan and LeBron when we're talking about totalities of careers. Anthony Davis has yet to ever hit a point in his career where he was like that. Now, he's at this weird stage right now where he's got to prove some things and stay healthy, but that is entirely different from becoming washed. So they are very close, but Anthony Davis has all this time to do so many more things with his regular season resume. So I think just that right there kind of shows Anthony Davis's edge. And like I said, he has always been a better offensive player to Dwight, where Dwight was just a body. AD maybe just this last season was the best two-way player in the playoffs after he had not really done anything since 2020. Now, Steve, let's talk about the playoffs.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs?
I'm very excited to talk about this. So,
I have a question.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So, when people look at AD and Dwight Howard, I feel like people look at Dwight Howard the same way that people look at Michael Jordan, and they don't remember his entire, they don't want to remember his entire career. They look at Magic Dwight Howard, and they say, that's the Dwight Howard we're talking about.
That's it, yeah.
And I like that you drew that analogy, because to me, I think, and you can tell me if I'm wrong on this, I think Anthony Davis, as the second best player on his finals team, he was more impactful as the second best player than Dwight Howard was as the best player on a finals team.
Well, we're going to get to that. We are very much going to get to that. So, for their careers, right off the bat, Anthony Davis, 26, 11, and 3, only in the playoffs, throwing in 1 steal and 2 blocks. What's Dwight Howard, the mega force, averaging in the playoffs for his career? 15 and 12 with the exact same 1 steal and 2 blocks. You made a point earlier saying that Anthony Davis, as the second best player on a team, was better than Dwight Howard as the best player on his team, okay? So, in the finals with the Magic and the Lakers, I looked at all the finals games, and this was Dwight Howard's best game in that series. He had 16 points, 21 rebounds, 2 assists, and 9 blocks. They ended up losing that game, and he had a plus-minus of -11 in his best game. In the best game for Anthony Davis's 2020 series, 34 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 blocks with a plus-minus of +23 and a W. Let's talk about a closeout game. Dwight Howard having a chance to keep his team alive in the finals and extend the series 11 and 10.
Yep.
Anthony Davis to win his first NBA Finals in his first NBA Finals. 19 and 15, 3 assists, a steal, and 2 blocks.
And
as
if you
the
can
second
tell
best
me,
player.
and if you can tell me the center that Dwight Howard had to face when he played the Lakers,
Pau Gasol. Now, let me tell you something. He played against Pau Gasol, who is a very good player and a good defender. That's fine. Anthony Davis was playing against Bam Adebayo, who may not seem like they're that similar, but was the best defender in those playoffs. He had held Giannis to the least efficient he had been that entire playoffs, and in my opinion was snubbed for Defensive Player of the Year that year and put up 34, 9, and 5. And now this is again my favorite part of this argument. I'm so excited to do this. I have a 4-player blind reveal. So these numbers are 4 players in their first finals appearance. These are all big men. Who on that list would you say is the best? Just which one of those guys has the best looking stats? Player C? Yeah. Okay. You ready to hear who these other players are?
I have a feeling I know who B is, but
Who's B?
I don't know who A and D are. B's Anthony.
Who's
B looks like Dwight Howard, but
nope.
It's not Dwight Howard.
B is not Dwight Howard.
All right, go ahead with
A.
Go ahead for me.
A is Dirk Nowitzki.
Yeah, that one's not surprising.
Player B is Kevin Garnett. Player C is Anthony Davis. And player D is Dwight Howard. So, you know, just two of the 5 greatest power forwards ever. That Anthony Davis has better stats in the finals. I just found 2 of the top 25 players ever. I found that interesting.
Now, let me ask a question about that. I want to know if this dilutes it at all. Does the fact that Anthony Davis didn't make a finals until he was already a established superstar kind of skew these numbers a little bit? Or
all of those guys were already pretty much established. I mean, Garnett in 08, Dirk in 06, AD in 20, and Dwight in 09.
Yeah, I think that was like his 4th or 5th year in the league when he went to the finals. So he wasn't like established. But no, I mean, what this shows,
I think it was more telling, I think, for Anthony Davis and Dwight Howard.
Yes.
Yeah.
What this shows me is that Anthony Davis is one of the most slept on bigs. Is he a top 10 center all time?
No.
But neither is
I
Dwight
consider
Howard.
him a power forward, to be fair.
You consider Anthony Davis a power forward?
Yeah,
Okay,
he doesn't.
fair.
He plays center, but he doesn't like it. He was originally
That's
he was
fair.
drafted and played as a power forward for most of his
I
career.
like this. I didn't know these numbers.
Yep. Yeah. So, in conclusion, if anybody tells you that Dwight Howard is better all time than Anthony Davis, you can tell them the sound said they're wrong and they sleep with their dad.
I might punch him.
You should. You probably should. This was a long one, but a good one. I thought we had some good arguments, some good stats.
We had to let the people know, because this isn't the first time. You and me have been talking about this before we saw this video.
We've had this
Steven and Jen.
conversation.
Because I've sent you things before where I'm like, why do people keep saying this? So we just had we had to make sure everyone knew. We had the right, the wrong. Now everyone knows.
You're welcome, America.
Excuse me, I'm talking to America here.
All right. And that's going to do it for us today. Another fantastic show. Nothing but incredible information. Incredibly efficient. We hope you learned something. Share these numbers and stats with your friends. Share this channel and video with your friends. Put them on to some excellent sports content. We are always here to provide you with a great service. And always remember, folks, always remember, if you are ever in need of intelligent and cogent sports analysis, just listen to the sound. We will always have you covered. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to us for more, comment, follow our Instagram page at @thesound_YT, and we will see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your day or night. Stay safe. Take care. We'll see you next time.
Listen to the sound. I listen to the sound.